Let's look at Luke chapter 17. And we're going to read verse 3 through 5. It says, take heed to yourself. If your brother sins against you, rebuke him. And if he repents, forgive him. And if he sins against you 7 times a day, and 7 times in a day returns to you saying, I repent, you shall forgive him. Verse 5. And the apostles said, Lord, 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 increase our faith. Why would they say, Lord, increase our faith? Say one time, sis.
A lot of times to forgive.
That's a lot of times to forgive. You understand? Do you hear it? Let's go back to verse 3. Let's read the first one. He said, take heed to who? Yourself. Who he talking about? Say me, myself, and I. Take heed to me, myself, and I. Watch this. If your brother, now who do you think this is? Who is that? Who is your brother? Christians. Them folk that you expect to act right all the time. Them folks you expect to be without sin. The folks you expect to don't hurt you. You okay when the world does something bad to you, but we don't want the Christians to, because after all, they know better. And Christianity is the only religion that crucifies its brothers. When your brothers or your sister and Christians that are Christians sin, we crucify them. No amens on that, but it's okay. Watch this. Remember the lady that got caught in, y'all ain't have to say it, it's cheering in the room. Listen. Listen. You remember her? One, somebody had to be nosing. Somebody had to be a peeping Tom. Because she could have been in there making tea and eating crumpets. But they said she was caught in the very act. So somebody had to be peeping in the window. The Bible said, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Get out there the window. They say, if you don't go looking for trouble, you won't find no trouble, right? If you don't go be looking for nobody else's sin, you won't find nobody else's sin. So if your brother or sister sins, as Christians, we find out their sins and we crucify. We want them out of the church. When we should be bringing them closer up to the front. Oh, you sinning, you with that dude and you with that dude and you smoking this and you doing that and you drinking that. Come sit on the front row, please. You don't understand. When the people come in and sit in the back row, that's because they dealing with some stuff. When I used to go to church a long time, I sit all the way in the back. I'll be like that back there behind the curtain part, sitting in the back, way back there. Why? Because I don't want to get too close up, because it's hot down up in here, you know. The fire of God be up there. I ain't going up there. You know, like, I play with a lot of stuff, but I ain't playing with God. I'll sit right here in the back. When I see them other people start falling, I'm leaving. Do you understand? I mean, that's just me. You do what you want to do, but there's certain things that I play around and I fool around with. But I don't play around with God like that. Now, watch this. Every church I go to, every service I go into, I expect, this has nothing to do with a preacher. Absolutely nothing to do with a preacher. I expect to sit on the front row. Why? Because I've learned some things. I've learned some things. What I've learned is when you sit behind somebody, you are automatically distracted by every movement that person makes. So if I'm sitting in the back of the church and somebody got a big old hat on, I'm talking about that stupid hat that lady got on her head. But I'm not listening to the man of God to have given the message or the woman of God because I'm looking at that stupid hat. Why in the world would she put a squirrel on her hat? Okay, see, some of y'all ain't been in the Baptist churches. You know, some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about. But listen, so what I had to do is, you know, some people, watch this, some people have the audacity to eat in church. And when they eat in church, you can smell what they eat. You can hear the wrapper papers. And tell me you ain't distracted. Especially if you're hungry. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look, that's a distraction. Listen to me. Have you ever seen somebody sitting in the front of an arena or somewhere and them throwing something forward? Like you're sitting up here in the front of the church. Have you ever seen somebody sitting up in the front and then they throw something, pass something to the pastor? Have you ever seen that? Watch this. Have you ever been in the back of the room? Brother Eddie. Have you ever been in the back of the room and somebody up front tell you, hey man, throw me one of them? Is that or is that not a distraction? But you know where the distraction comes from. It comes from the back because somebody's in front of you. It causes you to be distracted. So ain't nobody paying attention to what's going on in the front. I used to be the kid that sat in the back of the class. Every class I went to. Why? Because I was a troublemaker. And I figured by the time it took the teacher to get all the way back to me, she might get distracted by somebody else and I might get away with it. And now watch this. Whenever I get in trouble, they either make me come sit in the front of the class or they make me go outside. But when you sit me in the front of the class, that's the wrong thing to do. Because see, I had issues. I didn't want to be there. So I'm doing all kind of stuff to be a distraction to the teacher because I don't want Ed to learn because then he going to be smarter than me. We got to go outside and play at recess. Well, y'all don't have recess no more. But, we got to go play. I don't want to learn. I want to play. I want to play. Listen to what I'm telling you. People that sit down in the front of the class, they don't want to play. They want to learn. And they get upset about the distractions that go on behind them. Have you ever been somewhere trying to pay attention to somebody behind you do something? You don't give them one of them Joel Osteen looks. You give them a Pastor Craig look.